All right.
Stafford shirts, ladies and gentlemen.
I've never heard of a Stafford shirt until right now.
Let us know in the comments if you have Stafford white T-shirts or wife beaters, and what you think compared to other white T-shirts like Hanes.
This is an H&M shirt. Jerry said he asked if this was a Stafford white T-shirt.
It looks Stafford quality. Stafford is just high quality stuff, you know.
This is an H&M T-shirt. It's supposed to be oversized. It's a little bit short, which I didn't like when I first bought this shirt probably 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't wear it for like a year. You ever buy clothes and just not wear them?
Dude, I have. First of all, yes, and it's also white. So I know that my clumsy ass is gonna spill something on it. And like that's the thing, I'm not like a messy eater or like drinker or whatever. And I'm not a clumsy person, but if I'm wearing white, something gets on it every time. And it's crazy. But I got this, I think it was called Uniqlo. I think it's a Korean brand.
Yeah, they're actually huge in New York City, I think.
Are they? They're in the Santa Monica, I think it's the 3rd Street Promenade is the name of the outdoor mall there. And I went to Uniqlo and I got some sick shorts that don't fit anymore. I grew out of those quick. And then I got this like zip up, really soft, like pure white hoodie. And that shit stayed in my closet for like 3 years before I even touched it. I put it on to make sure it fit when I moved recently, and it fit. And I was like, I should wear this. It's in a drawer, and I haven't worn it yet.
I think one of the worst purchases I ever made was probably a white pair of pants that I
white
maybe
pair
wore
of pants.
twice. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's
I
a
went into
baller
the
move,
store and
honestly.
I was like, I would think I would look good in these white pants.
I think you wore them in California for
I
my sister's wedding.
Might have. No, I wore shorts.
Did you?
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe I'm imagining things.
I may have worn them once. I know I wore them maybe once or twice, but then I never wore them again. Because I think they were like jeans.
Yeah.
But
dude, I almost bought a pair of white jeans, and then I was like, what are you doing? You're the same
Yeah.
color. You're the same color as these jeans, bro. You can't wear these. The sun hits me. I'm going to blind someone with my skin and pants. No way. That's not good.
it's a natural defense. It's like a flower. You can't do anything else.
It
Just
keeps predators away.
blind the opponent.
Oh, my God. That's
All
funny.
right. Well, 2 minutes in. Welcome back to the BG Perform podcast. I swear this is a fitness podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back with my co-host, Coach Gerald Hayes.
It's
Jerry,
me.
how's the week? How's
Week's
training?
been good. What'd you say?
How's Colorado?
It's good. It's good. We somehow skipped winter a little bit, but we're about to get hit with a snowstorm, and I'm very excited for it. Work's been good. Training's been good. Last week was obviously Valentine's Day weekend, so Natalia and I celebrated that. We got a massage on Tuesday, beginning of the week.
Wow.
Weekend we went to the ice castles down in Cripple Creek, so it's really cool. They get like fire pits there, lawn chairs, they got hot chocolate, and you just walk through this giant ice fort essentially. And then they have like ice sculptures and stuff, slides that you can go down. It was fun.
Nashville too.
They have it in Nashville?
Yeah, the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh,
They have
that's
like
cool.
the Grinch Christmas, and it's all made out of ice, and you get to go down an ice slide at the end.
Yeah.
If you so choose.
If you so choose.
Yes.
Did you go down?
Yes, of course.
Attaboy. Yeah. It's fun.
It was
They're
good.
fast. But yeah, that was good. Valentine's Day was great. What else? You know, just a lot going on. But living life, man. It's been good.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
How about you?
Valentine's Day was good. Had went into so we got this special Dunkin' Donuts fudge donut. They have like a chocolate fudge heart-shaped donut on Valentine's Day. And I went in and I told Danielle to wait in the car. I was like, I'm just gonna run in because there was like a huge line in the drive-through.
Yeah.
So I go in and there's only one girl working in there. She's just by herself. She's like kind of running around, going everywhere. So she comes back and she's like, "Oh, how can I help you?" I was like, "Oh, do you guys have any left of those like fudge donuts?" She's like, "Okay, do you want all of them?" Well, I was like, "How many is all of them?" She's like, 4. I was like, "Okay." And she only charged me for 2.
Nice.
I was like, going in pays off.
I love it.
Not that we're promoting donuts on this podcast because this is a fitness podcast, fitting this
Bro,
donut in my mouth.
everything in moderation. Donuts included. Donuts
So
included.
it was good. It was good. It's a good weekend.
Nice, man.
Chilled, got a lot done, and we're here. So
Nice. I love it.
today we're gonna be talking about what we wish clients knew as a coach. And this can go a couple ways. I think this can go in the training ways, and we're gonna kind of dive into that. This can also go into some funny ways because I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of things as coaches that we wish clients knew or kind of took into consideration. I think if you're a coach who has, you know, a wide array of clients and has people that you'll understand some of the things we talk about, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Especially if you work as a coach full time.
yeah.
There's just more people you come across. So
Yeah. And I think when we talk about this, I think obviously starting out, there's a lot of things in our profession as coaches that we deal with, we kind of work with, and
hmm
we do a lot of different things, and we kind of end up wearing a lot of different hats as we coach through the day and through the weeks. And if you do group classes, there's always that sort of thing. I've always found that like group classes are always fun because there's
hmm
like multiple people, and there's always someone you can kind of like bounce the energy off of, and it's
hmm
person to person. It's not just like someone right in front of you. But I find that personal training, you build obviously a better relationship because you're with the person the entire time. So it's
Yeah.
just one conversation, one thing you have to remember, and you still mess it up, right? So one of the
hmm
things I want to start with is that like I wish, as like a coach, I wish clients kind of understood that side of it, and I think a lot of them, it's not for them to understand or think about, but it's like through the day, sometimes you forget how many people we talk to,
hmm
and you forget how many people we have conversations with, and how many people we interact with or train or kind of go through. And I remember when I was training classes, I would have like 4, 5, 6 classes a day, and people have the same name, or you think that like you just kind of, the day gets long, and like towards the end of the day you think like the morning was a different day, and sometimes it gets cloudy, right? And I
hmm
think that, again, clients don't understand this, but like through the day, as we see so many different people have so many different conversations, sometimes things slip,
hmm
sometimes things fall in the cracks, sometimes you forget certain situations or movements or whatever it might be. So sometimes that patience is sometimes necessary for the coach, because there are a lot of different conversations and places their head has to go throughout the day.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. Even yesterday, like toward the end of the day, I was talking to one of my clients and I was telling him, I was like, dude, after noon, I don't, my head isn't on straight. Like
Mhm.
after 12 p.m., I get a little loopy. And like sometimes I feel like I need extra coffee or extra caffeine to get me through, especially like coaching up until like 9 p.m., 8, 9 p.m. It's like, okay, now I'm starting to get a little tired. But yesterday we did like, we were doing this like this gallop to kind of warm up the ankles and calves with the athletes, and I was like, all right, right foot. We got back, and I was like, did we just do right foot or left foot? They were like, right foot. I was like, all right, left foot. And the one athlete goes, are you sure? And I was like, are you sure? But dude, they get so snarky. It's so funny. She looked at me dead in the eyes and, are you sure? I was like, dude, what the fuck?
So funny. Well,
But
you
yeah,
forget, and like it's on it, like,
yeah,
and this kind of leads into another one, but I'll say it in a second. But like, there's just so much that goes on, and like when you run a session, and especially when you're in group sessions, right? Because with group sessions, there's so much like carryover because they're kind of the
hmm
same thing. So it's
yeah.
like,
Especially if you're programming for like a contracted team, and that
yeah,
next team is the same team doing the same workout. Yeah,
yeah. At least with like a personal training session, like
yeah,
you're coming in and it's like a completely different person. They don't look the same, they don't talk the same, they don't sound the same.
yeah.
Like their program is different. So it's like when someone walks in, you're having that conversation and you're like, okay, well, at least I'm looking at something different, right?
Yeah,
Within
yeah.
like a group program, it's like the workout's the same. It's just you're kind of like changing the people that are in front of you. And
hmm
sometimes that becomes like not so much, again, it's not the people, it's just the situation of like, I just ran this workout 4 times and you forget where you're at, right?
Yeah.
One of my biggest ones and one I struggle with probably the most is rep counting.
Dude,
Um,
I'm the
oh, it's
worst.
I
You got
feel
three
like
more.
stupid when I'm in like the gym because and I don't know who else as a coach has maybe experienced this. I know I've talked to a lot of coaches who kind of are on board with me here, but when you're watching someone work out especially in like the personal training setting.
Hmm.
You're watching them move, you're paying attention to the pattern. Some people you got to pay
Possibly
attention,
cueing them.
cueing them. You got to
Yeah.
pay attention to make sure they don't hurt themselves.
Hmm.
And while you're doing all that, you're counting
Yeah.
and you're trying to make sure the reps are right.
Hmm.
And I've been told like notoriously I can't count. And I think they're fucking with me to be honest, but there's no way.
All of them are lying.
They're getting out of it. They're trying to get out of reps, but
Just gaslighting
just
you.
constantly always telling me like I'm like one or two reps behind, and I'm like, there's no way. But then I have the conversation. I'm like, and it's joking manner, obviously, but
Hmm.
it's like I'm paying attention to how they move, when they move, what movement they're doing. Does that look right? Should I change this? Does
Yeah.
it look like weight look too heavy? They're not gonna like fall over and pass out. And then I'm like
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, just trying to count. And I always mess up the reps, and I always
Yeah.
kind of forget where we're at rep wise. So I want clients, and hopefully they understand that uh, when your coach can't count, or it seems like they can't count, maybe they're not all there.
They're they're doing a lot of other things at the
There's a lot
same
of things
time.
going on behind the scenes that you might not be paying attention to while you're just doing your rep. And I've started to kind of use my hands more with
Yeah, yeah.
counting.
No, I was gonna say I count with my fingers
Yeah,
as
and I
I'm going
try
through.
to. So I'm like having a conversation, and while they're doing it, I'm just like this while they're doing the
Yeah,
rep, and you can just see my fingers just going, like adding to the conversation. So I try to do that, so it helps and it makes it a little bit easier. But I think it's just something obviously a client can hopefully take away from this and know that coaches are trying really hard, but they might be struggling with.
you know what? I messed up a little bit sometimes. Like I remember I had a client. She was an ear doctor, and she was learning ASL, so she taught me how to count to 10 on my finger. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hmm.
So I would go through and I would be practicing that just because I thought it was nice to be able to do it on one hand, start using my other one for other things. And I was like, okay. I'd go through and I'd be like 6, and then I'd think 3. Like, am I 3 or 6? And I was like, if I'm counting right, you're at 6 reps. They're like 7. I'm like, all right, I was wrong either way.
Completely
I
awesome.
guess I can't count at all, even with my fingers. So
That's funny.
yeah,
No, I think it's an important thing because I think sometimes that could almost I think sometimes it could come off as like the person's not paying attention or like the trainer's not paying attention.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that's the complete opposite. They're almost paying
hmm,
attention to too much, and that's why they can't count.
yeah,
Um, but I think it's been a constant thing for me that I've tried to get better at. So I've just resorted to using my hands, just
yeah.
having them up so I can kind of see them in the corner of my eye while I'm
Yeah,
still counting, and I can because it's sometimes you get to a certain point where you count, you're like, oh man, shit, like what rep am I at? I have 5 fingers up, but I feel like they've done more.
yeah. That's where I'm
So funny.
always using my fingers. And then the other thing too is I almost always say that same line. I'm like, if I counted correctly, you're at 8. And they're
Mhm.
like, yeah, or no. And I'm
Or
just like,
tempo.
okay.
So have you ever count with tempo? So I
Yeah,
kind of
tempo, I have a good method for that.
we probably have the same thing. I'm gonna assume, but when I count tempo, let's say it's like a 4 second tempo, I go 1, 2, 3, 1,
One,
1,
one,
2,
two,
3,
three,
2, and that's how
two.
I count
Yep.
the reps. So I make sure I'm on the right rep. Because
Yep.
when you're kind of counting out tempos and you keep saying 1, 2, 3, and you get there, or the only other thing I'll do is um, I'll do like up until 4,
Yeah.
and then I'll start counting the number out after that, if that makes sense. So I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And I get to 4, I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 5, like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I usually go with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, because that helps me
Yeah.
kind of keep track of the counting a little bit easier.
I can't
Because
keep
again,
track if I
while
don't
you're
do that.
watching somebody work out and you're trying to keep the tempo and make sure they're doing everything correctly while also making sure they don't hurt themselves in any way,
Yeah.
it's a ton to pay attention to. And having those little tweaks as a coach, we just hope you clients understand that it can be a little bit difficult.
That's a big reason why I teach my clients tempo and why I teach them how I count tempo so they know how to count tempo. And
Yeah.
then eventually I'm like, all right, now I want you, for the sake of learning tempo, count the same way I did in your head, get all the way to 8. And it's important to, and honestly, as a coach, I think that it's important to have your clients just know what number they're on in general. I don't think we
Yeah.
should do all the counting for them, because if I'm counting and I'm like, all right, you got one more, and they didn't know that they had one more,
Hmm.
they should know what they feel like at 6 reps versus 10 versus 8 versus 4. They should know what the weight feels like. It's important for them, because if they're feeling like a burn at 6 reps and they have 4 more to go, it's like, all right, this is what the fight feels like for that rep. You're not just pushing through and then they're like, well, how many more left? It's like,
Yeah.
you know how many more? Get it. Like,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think those are two big ones, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think like on a little bit more of like a serious note too, I think as a coach, I think sometimes with clients, when one of the main things, right? Like when you're coming into working with a coach, I think there's a lot of things that, you know, clients ask in the beginning, and there's a lot of things they want because they're investing in a coach. They're investing in someone who's you know, who they're asking to take them to a certain point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying like, "Hey, I'm going to pay you X and I want to achieve Y." And there's a lot of questions early on. There's a lot of like, well, what should I do here? How should I do this? What should I do this? When should I do this? Why should I do this? Why am I doing this? Why aren't we
Mm-hmm.
doing this? And there's a lot of questions that get asked. And I think as a client, one of the things you have to know is that with coaching, in the beginning, it's a little bit slow, in my opinion, right? If you're doing it right, it's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit slow because you have to learn the individual. You have to learn who they are, what they need, how they need it, what things can they do, what things can't they do. And that first month or two is always a little bit slow. And I've been very good in the past like year and a half of explaining that to people and being like, this first month is going to be slow, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so this is meant for us to kind of, we'll say explore, see how you react to certain situations, see what you're good at, see what you need work on, see where you can improve, see what you're really good at, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think as a client coming into any situation, having crazy expectations to achieve something like very quickly is obviously a way to be disappointed, but also it puts a lot of stress on the situation. And I think sometimes with coaching, when you get these younger, newer coaches who want to build a client base and want to become that next best thing in coaching, they say a lot of things that they don't necessarily mean or they can't necessarily provide. And I think a lot of it is pressured from clients just not understanding, what can actually be done in a certain period of time inside of coaching. I think a lot of it has to be done with like I said, you know, if you're someone who wants to lose 30 pounds, right? Understanding that's going to take probably 3 to 4 months, like real 3 to 4 months until you can get to a point where the weight can start coming off, right? Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
lose some weight in the beginning. You can take all the necessary steps and you don't, and it's a fine line where you don't want to give the coach so much patience that there's like no changes whatsoever. That's why I think usually the first month is a good guideline of like, hey, after the first month, you should have a good understanding of like who this individual is. And this also depends on, how many times you're seeing the person. If you're seeing the person
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week, it might only take 2 weeks and you're like, okay, cool. I know what they can do and can't do. And we can kind of
Mm-hmm.
get this going. If you're seeing someone once or twice a week, you need a little bit more time. You need to kind of see what's going on, who they are, that sort of thing. And I think, you know, after a month you can really start to dial up or dial back things as they go, but it just takes time. And I think as a client you need to come in with patience for the coach to kind of learn you and build exactly what you need. And I think with especially inside of individual design, and I think you skip a lot of this with group training, and I think that's where people, you know it's almost like that idea of like, um instant gratification, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like group training allows instant gratification because you can just walk into a group class and kind of just get a good workout, a hard workout, right? Whereas like some of the early workouts that I do with people aren't necessarily hard. They're difficult, but they're difficult in a way that's like more of feeling out process than it is like, oh, I'm on the floor gasping for air.
Yeah, it's like motor learning and
Yes, but long
yeah.
term, that's going to be obviously the better path moving forward. Whereas a
Mm-hmm.
group class, it's like immediately you get that feeling of like, wow, I just had a good workout. Where long term, it's like the struggles can arise a little bit, more often in a group setting because it's not built for you and truly built for you, right? An individual design, you need some patience, you need some ability to, have room to work, know what you actually need, what you don't need, and I think that's a big thing for clients that hopefully they understand that.
Yeah, I think it's when people are doing group classes too, if you think about, they go into it and sometimes it's just one instructor with up to like 20 people. It depends
Yeah,
on like
yeah,
what
or
what
like
class you're doing.
I think most places like that are probably like we at Thrive, we used to do 2 to 12,
Hmm.
but most places you're going to see like 1 to 10,
Yeah.
1 to 12, one to even, like you said, even 20.
But sometimes you have like those, like even like Orange Theories, F45s, bigger classes.
Mhm.
Some of these High Rocks and CrossFit gyms, there might be one, maybe two coaches. But even so, if you have
Very
20
rare you're
people
going
in
to
a
see two
class,
coaches though.
yeah, yeah. And even if you did, it's very rare that they'll be able to pay attention at the detail that you would get for personal training. So for people who have done both group classes and personal training, they may say like, well, when I was doing group classes, I was doing all these advanced movements and I jumped right in and I was getting a good workout. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't have the coach to look at you and be like, ooh, you're going to blow out your back because you're doing that wrong. Or
Mhm.
your shoulder's going to dislocate because it shouldn't move that way. So, like, sometimes
Yeah,
the
but at
extra
least make
attention
it
to
count.
detail. Yeah,
Okay.
right. Gee. Sometimes the extra attention to detail will allow you and your coach to scale back to where you need to be and not where the overall general program is for a group class. And sometimes they have modifications, but they don't really enforce modifications. They say, like, if this is too difficult, do this, or if you're struggling with this, do this instead. But nobody wants to admit they're struggling in a group setting. And that's
Yeah.
something that I've noticed by coaching a lot of group classes with athletes and general population is they don't want to seem like they can't do what other people are doing, so they'll do it wrong instead of doing something else correctly,
Yeah.
just out of like the fear of being the only person who can't do the one thing. So I think having a client who's done both group fitness and personal training, if they started at group fitness and they transition to personal training, typically they might feel like, well, I feel like I'm moving really slow
Hmm.
compared to a class like that. But somebody who's done personal training for a little bit will go into a group class and feel like they're moving at the same speed because they've built up to a place where they know that they're moving properly. They've had eyes on them to make sure that their form is correct, but also that they're pushing at an intensity that is where they should be for that exercise rep scheme, whatever it might be. They go into the training and group sessions and they're like, oh, I've done this all before. I've had eyes on me. I know exactly what the intensity should feel like
Yep.
at this rep range, at this time, whatever the scale or measurement is for the exercise you're doing, whether it is reps or time. And they just kind of seamlessly join in because they are a good mover and they've built up that foundation. So that's one thing that I feel like people should know the difference between the two, and transitioning maybe sometimes from group into personal training is a little harder to do versus personal training into group.
Yeah, and I think with the client, like a lot of it falls on the client too, right? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
client has to understand when they come in, there is a difference between the two, and that's why there's a price difference between the two. And when you get more individualized attention, the price generally goes up significantly depending on the person you're working with. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're in a group setting, it generally goes down because there's more people. And with that, as the price goes down, the quality, or I wouldn't, not always the quality, but like
Attention to detail.
yeah, like the individualization is most likely going to go down as well, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like, it's hard to expect individualization or expect something like that in a setting where the price is at a certain point, right? And it doesn't always have to come down to price, but in most places, when you see that 100 to like $200 a month group membership type deal,
Mm-hmm.
you can usually account that like there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a group setting, and the coaches are probably going to be more cheerleader than coach. I think
Yeah.
that's something to kind of account for, because, and you just have to know that as a client, and again, it's not that you deserve, less for your money. It's just that usually that's what happens in that setting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that, as the coach and client grow, right? Even in a group setting, if you're consistent enough and there long enough, you're gonna be able to like they're gonna learn you, and they're gonna be able
Mm-hmm.
to, right? In any group setting where a coach comes in and they learn that individual, they're gonna be able to make those adjustments for them probably in that group setting. But you just got to understand early on, you're probably not going to get too much of that, or at least exactly what you need, as if you were in, a personal training setting.
Yeah. I think this is kind of a little bit off topic, so I won't go too far into it, but
Oh,
it's a
you're good. Go
big
ahead.
pet peeve for me when you are at a group class and the coach is standing still for too long or just like walking around and not cueing. If you're in a good group class, your coach will be constantly moving from one person to the next, making sure everyone's doing everything properly instead of just the cheerleader thing. So like it's a big pet peeve for me seeing that and then having people be like, yeah, the class is great. It's like, yes, but where's the coaching that you're paying
Mhm.
for? Because you could just get that program and do it with some friends, you know?
Yeah.
That's just a little off topic, but that's just
Well,
something that
I think a lot of that setting is,
grinds my
again,
gears.
a lot of that is, and I do believe this. I think group coaching or group fitness is more community based than anything. You know, like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think people do group fitness for the fitness. I think they do it for the people. And I think,
yeah.
you know, a lot of those places, a lot of these gyms that maybe aren't the best or don't
Mhm.
have like the best, um, you know, actual training, they get by because they have a great community or they have a lot of people who like each other. And a lot of time you can really far with just community. You know, think about the
Mhm.
gyms that are local to me. There's probably like two or three gyms in the area that probably aren't the best long-term health for people, if we're being
Mhm.
honest. But they have a strong community and a lot of people, and they have a lot of what do you call it?
Outreach,
No, what's the word when like people like a lot of people know about it and like it?
a lot of pull,
I guess.
maybe.
Yeah, they have like I guess that could be a that's not the word I'm thinking, but whatever. It's a lot of pull. Like there's a lot of people know about these places. They hear it,
Mhm.
they see a lot of people going there, and they latch on and they're like, oh well, did everyone else?
Recognition.
Yeah, recognition. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they have a lot of recognition, and when people see it, they're like, oh well, that clicks. I know it. I see a lot of people go there, and it's
Let me
not the
try it
best
out.
for them.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was gonna say, let me try it out, which is what
Yeah.
people usually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get away with it. Even like when I've been to CrossFit gyms in the past, you know, the workouts, whether they were good or not, was a different question. But like the community was there, and people liked to hang out with each other, and people went just to have conversation. And me and Nick always joke because we go to ABC in the morning, and there's like a group of guys. They're a little bit older. There's this one dude who like we've never seen struggle, just once. Like he's just like today he was doing chest flies. He's just like this. Then he benched
Just keeping
405.
lubricated,
What are
dude.
he
That's
benched
all.
like 405 for like 3 reps earlier, like
Wait,
before he did
really?
that? Yeah. Just like
Jesus.
nonchalant. He's just like gets up, puts it down. He's like on his phone. I'm just like,
How old is this dude?
he's gotta be in his, he's definitely on shit, but he's like, I'm probably in his 40s. He kind of looks like he looks like Clark Kent a little bit, like old Clark Kent.
Like, oh my God, what was his name? The original one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, why am I forgetting his name?
Didn't he die?
Yeah, he did. He had ALS.
He's a little bit
Uh,
thicker than that guy, but he's kind of got the same like look to him.
Superman actor. Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. Yeah, not like exactly the same, but like he's got like similar like Superman look to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I've never seen him struggle. Like he's literally just on the leg press. He's like got the single leg press. His legs going back and forth. He's just like this. Just
He's
like,
got all the weight in the
what are
world on it.
you doing? Just there to talk. But I think that's another point actually to bring up.
High, low, sell high. He's
Yeah. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. He's a menace. Fucking leg pressing.
Oh, it's so funny.
Get that on the front page right now.
I think clients need to understand in the session, right? We love you. We love working with you guys. We think you're awesome, but like we got to get the session done. We got to do the workout. I think sometimes as you build relationships, as you get to know people more, as you see them more often, it's common you're going to have that sort of like talking points. You're going to have those moments where you're like, we got to get this going.
All right, we're 20 minutes in and we're not done with the warm up. We got to push it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of it where I think clients need to understand coming into sessions, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we don't love you. It's not that we don't want to sit and talk about the things you want to talk about, but we only got an hour. We got other things we got to do. We got other sessions we got to
But
have.
also, if we're not moving, you're not going to get results. And then it's just like,
Exactly.
what are you even paying
Exactly.
me for? Just to hang
Exactly.
out? Like,
And
yeah.
sometimes I get confused because I've had clients that sometimes I don't even think they want to work out. I think they just want to talk. You
Some
know?
people.
Like,
I've had that too. They come in,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, let me tell you about this thing. And they sit down and I'm like, we got to go over there.
I know.
Like far over
We got to
there.
finish this next set. And they're like, oh, hold on. I'm like, no, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, we gotta go. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Um, but oh, what was I saying before that?
Oh, when people are talking a little bit, like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have
So like,
other people we gotta see. Yeah.
yeah, I think clients need to understand that, like, coming into the workout or coming into the gym setting in general,
Mm-hmm.
like, I understand people use it for communication and fun time and kind of like networking and whatever. But like, you got to get your time in, you got to get your workout in, you got to make sure you're paying attention and focused, because I think, a lot of the lack of results is lack of focus on what you're doing and what's in front of you at that moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think there's not a lot to add to that. I think it's sometimes like we have clients that just want to chill, hang out. They're excited to see you because I haven't seen you in a week. Then when you get with them in a session, it's just a little chatty and sometimes you got to keep moving. But that's one thing that I remember, and this is a big thing for me, put your phone away. When we start our session, I don't think you should have your phone on you. Obviously, some people have work and it's busy. Like, I'll make exceptions if people are like, I'm really sorry, I got to take this as work. It's like, go for it. Yeah. But I remember I had one kid who was unemployed. He wasn't in school. He was just home all the time. He'd come in and be like, I got to take this. Sitting there going like this.
Tweeting, my trainer sucks.
Yeah, and he'd take like a good minute and a half to send a text. And I'm like, what the fuck you got to take this for? Like, who
I'm
is
trying to
that?
see how long I can keep my trainer waiting for me while I'm writing this tweet.
Yeah, I gotta take this. I mean, like, for what? Like, for who? Who could possibly be over there that's stopping our session right now? You have to
Funny.
take that. But
So
yeah,
funny.
so like obviously like some people I've had people who have like their own business and like orders will come in on their phone like every 10 minutes and they have to sign off for drivers and people like for that. I totally get it. Do your
Mhm.
thing, make your money. That's how you're able to afford me and continue to work with me. So you do your thing. But if you say I got to take this and you're just texting somebody, I'm just like, dude, I want to throw your phone underneath 405 and just drop a deadlift on it. Like smash.
So funny.
I got to take this.
I think the last thing that comes to my mind is, I think clients need to understand when they step into coaching that results come outside of the gym. And
Yeah.
I think what happens is, again, we as trainers want to help as much as we can. And the
Mhm.
workout is a huge part of the day, right?
Mhm.
And getting your workout in, challenging your body, creating adaptation, causing the fatigue, and then allowing your body to react or recover, right?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of clients come into the training setting, we'll say personal training, group training, whatever it might be, and they kind of are just like, cool, this guy is getting me my results.
Mhm.
And it's true to a certain extent. Like, the trainer is there to help you implement training and as well help you implement lifestyle, right? And if you didn't check out the behind the design that we filmed yesterday, we talked a little bit more about, well, this is Wednesday, so Tuesday the 17th. We talked a little bit about lifestyle coaching inside of like what we do as coaches, like myself and Jerry and Daniel, and like why it's so important, right?
Mhm.
Because we see you for like an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes if you're in a group setting, right? And in that hour, you're getting your training, you're getting stuff done. But there's 23 other hours in your day. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of the times what happens is clients get so reliant on the coach to get the result, and they get disappointed, or they kind of like put themselves in a position where they're setting themselves up for disappointment by assuming that just because they're working with a coach, something's going to happen, right? And you have to take that initiative outside of the sessions to implement the things that the coach is talking to you about, right? When we
Mhm.
talk about lifestyle habits, when we talk about training, when we talk about nutrition, sleep, stress management, a lot of that is on you. The coach can help. The coach can help keep you accountable. They can give you the steps to take, but you have to take those steps, right? And as much as we'd love to help you and take you through it, like, we can't throughout the day, right? And
Mhm.
you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to hold yourself to a pace that's like, when I'm not with him, I want to make that hour that we just did count, right?
Yeah.
And spending that hour training and then going home and sitting on your phone or eating, garbage or not sleeping well, it's just I want to say you're wasting your time because you're still making progress, but like, you're not going to get exactly where you want to be, right?
Mhm.
And I think if you're investing in that time, and you're investing in yourself to get the results that you want to get, or get to the point that you want to get as a client and get the results you want, when you step in with a coach, understand like, hey, I got to level up. I got to be better. Because as much as we do inside of that hour, there's still points that like we can't control what you're putting in your mouth at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
We can't control what you're eating. Should have said that differently. But we can't control what you're eating. We can't control what you're consuming on your phone. We can't control, the things that are going on. We can't control traffic. We can't control time management, and I think if you come in with that mindset of like, hey, this guy's going to help me in this time and give me the steps outside of here, but I am going to step up and I need to take control of this, then every session's going to be great. You're going to get the results you want, and there's not going to be that disconnect of like, hey, you said I was going to do this and I didn't get here, right? Like I had something pop up in one of the chats that I'm in for like this coaching group, and one of the coaches was like, hey, I got a client who I've been working with them for like 6 weeks of I think it was like a 12-week thing. They're about halfway through, and the client was saying that he was supposed to have lost a certain amount of weight by a certain time, but he didn't do anything that the coach said. The coach told him like, you need to be doing your steps, you need to be eating this and that. The guy was like, I know I haven't been walking, or I haven't been, hitting the macros every day, but why am I not losing weight? And the guy was like, well, what do you mean?
I know I haven't
Like,
been doing the thing, but why isn't it working?
and he put in the group chat, he was like, how would you handle this type of client? And all the coaches were like, well, I mean, you tell them. Like it's like simple as that. Like it's just kind of like, you got to be upfront. You got to be like, hey, are you doing the work? There were some other things that were like contextually in there, speaking of like an in-body scan, like they didn't do an in-body scan at the beginning, and little things like that. But it was still, the fact of the matter was like there wasn't results being had, but the guy wasn't, or girl, I don't know if it was guy or girl, but the person was not completing the tasks that the coach was telling them to complete or asking them to complete, and then saying like, oh, I'm not getting what I want from it. Right.
Yeah.
So as a client, you need to realize when you step into that situation, we can give you all the tools, but like you're the one who's got to walk the walk it forward into completing the task. So I think it's really important. And I think as a coach, as a trainer, as an individual who loves to work out, the work needs to be done by yourself, and the coach is there to help guide you.
Can you imagine getting like a skin rash or something, and you go to the doctor and like, you have to put this topical cream on once a day? And you go back next week and you're like, it's still there. What the fuck? And they're like, oh, did the cream not work? Be like, well, I didn't use it. Why isn't it going away? You would be so shocked. You'd be like, well, put it on. Like,
Use it.
put a girl on. You have to put the cream on, and it'll fix the problem. The rash will go away. There you go. It's the same thing with working out. Like if you're not doing your macros, well, you don't need to do macros necessarily, but if that's what your goal is and that's what you said you were going to do, and you're not sleeping right, you're not doing all these things outside, the stuff in the gym, you might as well just be like going in and effortlessly moving a fly, right? Just,
Yeah, exactly.
Just doing that. Yeah. What's going on over there?
Shoot. All right. Well, that's all I got. I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
That's it, man. Just know that we're humans too.
Yeah, we're humans. We make mistakes. Sometimes we can't count. I promise I can count to 10. 1, 2, 7. Damn.
Damn.
No, but I think there's a lot of things we do well. I know we mess up, but I think these are some things that I would love for clients to understand from their end, that coming in just to pay attention to as coaches. I'm sure there's stuff we missed too. So if you're a coach and you have any funny stories or anything that you wish your clients knew, drop it down below in the comment section. Is there something you want to add to it? Looks like you kind of got like a little...
No, I was just giggling about a quote from a movie. That's all.
What is it?
It was literally is so irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. I mean, I was just thinking like, sometimes I'll be like, all right, you put that away. I'm going to go get this. Like, you wipe that down. I'll grab this and I'll set up the next thing. And I just started thinking about the Sasquatch Gang. And if you've never seen that movie, it's I think you know exactly what I'm going to say. It's made by the creators of Napoleon Dynamite, and it's like easily one of the most underrated movies of all time. But there's one guy, Shirts, never wears a shirt, and he was saying he was going to go chicken nuggets for dinner, and Justin Long's character was like, "Wait, you having chicken nuggets for dinner? Can I come?" And he goes, well, we only have enough for everyone in the family. And he goes, all right, you know what? You go eat your chicken nuggets. I'll get my hands on my own nuggets. Don't you worry about how. And that's kind of how I operate sessions. You do this, I'll do this. Don't you worry about setting it up. I got it.
You just go stand next to that machine.
Yeah, you
I
just
got
go stand
everything
over there
else.
and look pretty.
So funny. So funny. But yeah, I think that's it. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, if you're a coach and you got any funny stories, if you're a client and you have some feedback,
Yeah,
what does a coach need to understand from the client's perspective?
that would be great. We can go over that for a podcast. Please do.
Yeah, maybe next episode.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.